Well, hey there, and welcome back to Wedding Planning Simplified. This is try number 2 for today. I was having some tech issues, which hopefully are resolved. But welcome. It is October 23rd, and it is a beautiful day here in London, Ontario. We had a wedding yesterday, and they really lucked out in terms of the weather, and we're enjoying some of that again today. So hopefully you're able to get out and enjoy the sunshine while we still have it. But if you're here joining me or catching the replay, thank you as always for watching. Please don't hesitate to post any questions or thoughts that you have in the comments. We always love to hear from you and know that people are actually watching and that I'm not just speaking into the ether with no one listening. We have been discussing this October all about attire. So we've talked about how to go gown shopping traditionally. And last weekend, we spoke with Tamara from Savvy Bridal Consignment about how to buy a gently used gown, which is definitely something to consider if you are at all concerned about your environmental impact. And next week, we'll be speaking with Ron from Moores all about how to choose your groom and groomsmen's attire. Today, however, we are talking about a perhaps neglected element of the wedding party attire, and that is your parents. So we know that your parents are hopefully going to play a role on your wedding day. We know that they are probably going to appear in some pictures, and we want to be mindful of how they are dressed. This is probably something that's top of mind for them and something that you'll want to discuss with your parents early in the planning process. So, what we would suggest is that you have conversations with your parents shortly after, or maybe even while you're choosing your wedding party attire for groomsmen and groomswomen, or for bridesmaids and bridesmen, because as you're making color choices and general sort of formality of style choices, you'll want to think about keeping your parents in the loop so that they can coordinate their attire appropriately. This is going to be most important, of course, as you are perhaps being walked down the aisle by your parents and they're in everyone's view, and also in the photos that presumably you're going to have done that are going to stay with you in your album or on your walls for generations. And we hope that the parents are going to be a cohesive part of those photos and the wedding party, although we don't want them to completely match the wedding party. So today we're going to talk about some tips and strategies for shopping and communicating, and give you a little bit of guidance for what your parents should wear. Now, what I would suggest is that you, like I said, keep the parents in the loop. Talk to each other about what you're hoping that your parents will wear. Talk to your parents individually, and then consider connecting your parents so that perhaps your moms can talk about their gowns as they're shopping. And of course, avoid accidentally purchasing the same gown, and make sure that they coordinate with each other and with the wedding style as a whole. Now, if you are part of a family where parents are separated, perhaps there are 4 parents or there are significant others of parents involved, it does make things a little bit more complicated. You always need to be very sensitive to those dynamics and the emotions that may be brought up on your part. Hopefully, they're being sensitive of your feelings, but then also you'll want to be sensitive to their feelings. I would assume in most cases that hopefully stepmom is going to be very conscious of not overdressing and outshining bio mom. These are things that you'll have to handle on a sort of one-on-one basis as you're determining who wears what and making sure that everyone feels comfortable, both physically in what they're wearing and also emotionally, and in their sort of well-being with what other parents are wearing. You'll want to keep in mind that you might want to gift some of your parents, maybe not attire, but accessories. It's a nice way to help personalize your parents' attire and also include them in a special moment in your day. Perhaps you want to get mom and stepmom and mother-in-law a piece of jewelry that will coordinate with either the wedding party's jewelry or with your jewelry, or that will coordinate with the outfit that they've purchased. And then you can give it to them, have a special moment, capture it in photographs, and that piece of jewelry will become a special piece that they can remember every time they wear it, the special experience of your wedding day. You might want to consider gifting dad cufflinks or a tie clip or even maybe some fun socks. It's a great way to help your parents to coordinate with the overall theme of the wedding and also to have a special moment on the day with them. I basically think that there are three things where the actual attire is considered that you'll want to think about overall. And the first is that your parents will want to match the overall formality of the wedding as a whole. So if the groomsmen are wearing full tuxes, dad may want to consider wearing a tux as well, or at least wear a very classic suit and tie. If you happen to be renting groomsmen's attire, you can even incorporate dads into that process for a couple of reasons. One, the staff at the rental store is going to be able to help dads choose something that is complementary but not too matchy-matchy. And the second reason is that often suit shops will give deals the more suits you rent. So if you know that dads are going to want to rent, you may want to bring them into that process and hopefully save everyone a couple of bucks in the process. If your bridesmaids are wearing short dresses, I would encourage your mothers, if they're comfortable, to do the same. And conversely, if bridesmaids are wearing long gowns, you'll probably want to nudge moms in that direction as well, just so that a mom isn't dramatically overdressed in comparison to the rest of the wedding party, or vice versa, dramatically underdressed. So the first thing you'll want to think about is matching the level of formality. And the second thing is colors, and that's probably fairly obvious. That's likely the first place that your head goes when you think about what you're going to dress your parents in. I would suggest that you choose complementary but not matching colors. So the first thing to consider is maybe to choose similar saturations of colors. If your wedding party is in a really rich, heavily saturated jewel tone, for instance, that's a good direction for moms to go as well. Or if your wedding party is in light pastel colors, perhaps you want to suggest to moms that they go that same direction as well. Moms may want to choose dresses in a different shade of the wedding colors. So if you have bridesmaids in blues, maybe they're in a cobalt blue, for instance, a navy blue would be an excellent choice for a mom's dress. But I do encourage you to keep undertones in mind. So especially purple is kind of notorious for this. If the wedding colors are purple and moms are going to choose dresses in different shades of purple, just be really mindful that there are blue purples and then there are red purples, and they do not play nicely together. So think about the undertones. And in fact, this is one of the reasons I suggest purchasing mom's gowns after bridesmaids' gowns, because if you've chosen a single color for all of the bridesmaids, perhaps you can get a swatch of that color, give it to moms, and they can take it with them as they're dress shopping so that they can find something that complements and isn't going to clash with the wedding party colors. Always metallics or dark neutrals are a good safe choice for moms. I would encourage you, for both moms and for dads, if the wedding party is in navy, perhaps they can choose a different shade of blue, a royal blue or a French blue. If the wedding party is in black, perhaps they can choose a charcoal or a silver. I would advise, though, with neutrals, dark neutrals can be safer. Light neutrals can be a little bit dangerous because depending on the shade, a light neutral dress on a mom can read as white in photos. So you want to be mindful that a light neutral gown may almost appear bridal in photos, and we don't want that to be the case if you as a couple are concerned about that. If your wedding party is all in light colors, off whites or light tans, then perhaps that's something you want to allow moms to do, as long as everyone is on the same page and okay with that as a decision. I would advise moms to avoid bold patterns or really, really bright colors. Again, unless that coordinates with the rest of the wedding theme, just because they may clash in photos. And I would suggest where mom and dad are concerned, if they're a couple or dad and stepmom, mom and stepdad, that they endeavor to kind of coordinate their outfits. It doesn't have to be the, traditional tie matches dress. You certainly can go that way. It's a nice way to make mom and dad cohesive. But there are certainly ways in terms of saturation of color and style and tone that can help them to appear cohesive with each other while not having to be completely matchy-matchy. Although it certainly is still completely kosher to match dad's tie color to mom's dress. It's a little bit more au courant to maybe choose a patterned tie that coordinates with mom's solid color dress than it is to go solid, but that's still totally fine. As we mentioned before, dad can certainly wear a tux or a suit in the same color as groomsmen, but I would advise keeping the accessories different. Maybe you want to keep the cut of the suit a little different. Maybe if groomsmen are wearing a vest, maybe dad doesn't wear a vest, or he can wear a complementary suit color. So if groomsmen are in black, maybe dad is in charcoal or maybe a lighter gray, depending on the saturation of colors and the season of the wedding. I wouldn't necessarily wear a light gray suit to a winter wedding, for instance. The third thing that you'll want to consider is making sure you consider comfort and parents' personal style. Gone are the days when mom of the bride, mom of the groom dresses were very old school and matronly and cut for older ladies. You can nowadays find lots of options that are much more stylish, that are in much trendier fabrics and much more flattering younger cuts. So I definitely encourage you to allow moms to find something that they are personally comfortable in that matches a silhouette that they wear often that they're comfortable in. But keep those lines of communication open, of course. If you are concerned that mom might make a faux pas, if she is prone to wearing very short dresses and you don't want that on your wedding day, do make sure that you communicate that kindly and politely early in the process so that mom has a little bit of guidance to go with. Make sure that you always have those respectful conversations. You don't want to be dictatorial and tell mom, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, and I have to have you do this. But do explain your reasoning, explain to mom that you want her to feel comfortable in what she chooses, but also that you want her to match the formality and the tone of the wedding day. But allow, hopefully, your mom to choose something that she is comfortable in. And also allow parents to dress for the weather. Encourage them if you're having an outdoor wedding and it's likely to be cool. Encourage mom to have a shawl or a wrap or a bolero. If it's going to be very, very warm, encourage mom perhaps, if it matches the tone of the wedding, to wear a short, loose dress, perhaps with, sleeveless or just straps. So encouraging your parents to go with the overall formality of the wedding, to choose complementary but not matching colors, and to consider their own comfort and personal style, I think are three ways that you're going to guarantee that your parents are comfortable, that they blend in on the wedding day, that everything looks cohesive and beautiful, and that hopefully everyone is comfortable and happy in their attire choices for the day. As always, please hit me with any questions that you might have. You can respond in the comments. You can email me at amy@unmistakably.you.com. And please join me here next week. We will actually be at the Wedding Ring Wedding Expo at the Lamplighter Hotel. So pop by there from 11 to 3 on Sunday, October the 30th, and say hi. So we won't be live, but we will have Ron from Moores talking about how to choose groom and groomsmen's attire. So we will see you then. Enjoy the sunshine. Have a great week and happy planning.